All right. So the DRC is yelling at us here, and I want to stop those now so that you guys can actually do this first and then design your board knowing that when you design it that this won't be yelling at you. So to do that, first we got to familiarize ourselves with the DRC. So if we type in DRC, it stands for Design Rule Check. We can also go to the bottom left here and it says DRC as well. So we push enter, it'll tell us that by default it has the Eagle design rules loaded, and you can go through here to see the layers that it allows you to have, the clearance between wires and pads and vias, distances, all these interesting things. And so when you send it to a manufacturer, most of them will have constraints or capabilities of what their manufacturing machines or process can do or is limited to, and that we need to design within those constraints. So at this point, you would need to decide which board house you're going to use. We've been fancying OSH Park, so we're going to go show you guys how to use the OSH Park design manufacturing constraints. So if you go to your browser and type in oshpark.com or type it into Google, you'll find OSH Park, should be the top thing. You'll be taken to this purple website that we were here at earlier. I highly recommend you explore your board house into excruciating detail to see its capabilities and more into the manufacturing if you're not familiar with it. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to the bottom and we're going to go to see all docs. We're going to go to Eagle. Make sure you don't click on Autodesk. That'll take you to the Autodesk site. You want to click on Eagle right above it, and it'll take us to everything that has to do with Eagle. Real quick, if you notice here, it had stuff for KiCad, Circuit Maker, Altium, and a bunch of other design suites for PCBs, but we're using Eagle. And it'll tell you everything about the limitations or if there are any problems with Eagle and their manufacturing software, how to go around it. What we need to click on is here, Eagle Design Rule, and you'll be taken to this particular page, and you can go ahead and download the CAM files that you need. So we're using a 2-layer board. OSH Park also supports 4-layer boards. We're not going to do one today, but you can go ahead and download this now if you want, but we're going to download the 2-layer one. So if you do in Mac, if you do Option left click, it'll download the OSH Park 2-layer DRU. If you're in Windows, hopefully once you left click on it, it downloaded it appropriately. If not, then you can copy paste it into some editor and save it as a .dru extension. By default, downloading to downloads for me. We can go ahead and change that now, and we can go to Documents, Eagle, Design Rules. You can see here I already have it, the OSH Park 2-layer and the 4-layer. So you can make another folder called OSH Park and put it in here, or you can just put it in the default directory. So I'm going to override this one. Maybe they've updated it since then, and click Save. It's going to ask me if I want to replace it. If you don't have it there, then it should just do it for you automatically. Go ahead and do the 4-layer one if you are interested or plan on doing a 4-layer board later, but you don't have to worry about it. So that's all we need. We'll be back to OSH Park later when we actually upload our design to it. All right, so back here, if we were at the design rule settings, if we go to load, we should be taken by default to the design rules. So if you had OSH Park 2-layer DRU here, it would appear. Otherwise, you can go to your folder if you made one and select your 2-layer or 4-layer design. We're going to do 2-layer. We're going to open it, and you're going to notice it says OSH Park design rules. And if you go through here, you're going to notice some of these actually changed, and you can see the limitations of their manufacturing suite. And we're going to go ahead and click check. So check using the OSH Park design rules. And you're going to notice it tells us the errors. It says we have 12 air wires, and those are the connections. Pretty much just saying we haven't routed our board yet. And that's also a good point to point out here now that these air wires doesn't guarantee that you've actually made a connection. So if you were to send this out right now, nothing would be connecting your board. If we had other errors, it would yell at us. We don't have any now. We'll purposely make some in a few minutes to show you. It tells us which layer it's on. So it's on layer 19. That's just the air wire layer. So if we go to layer here, it says 19 unrouted, which is what they call an air wire. Cool. If you notice, the DRC flags disappeared because we're within the manufacturing capabilities. If we pushed it over a little bit, we'll notice that again, it'll yell at us. And just as a quick check, let's do design rule check. Click check. Now we can just push enter because when we went here, it had OSH Park already loaded by default. Click check or push enter, and it tells us we still have 12 air wires, but it also tells us 2 more errors. We have a dimension error, and it'll always highlight where the error is. So pretty much what it's saying is that there's no explicit description, but what it's saying is that you're trying to print something that's outside, and if you send this to OSH Park, they will try and print it like that, but you know, this might not be what you want, and that's what it's yelling at you for. All right, so it tells us that they're on that side and on that side. So some of the error messages are kind of cryptic. You might have to go online and Google what the error is and how to fix it. So let's move it back out of place, and we're fine. So now let's go ahead and route our board.